Okay, we're gonna do a workout for the adductor magnus. Go ahead and stand with your feet wide, at least wider than hip width apart. Hands on the hips, shoulders back. Just a little bit of a hinge. Very slowly take the tailbone pointed to the left heel and then to the right. You can think of this as hiking the left hip, dropping the right hip, then hiking the right hip and dropping the left. A little bit of a hinge to keep the hips behind the heels. You can get a bit of the upper body involved if you want to keep your thoracic spine in line with your lumbar spine, or you can keep it just isolating the low back. Real slow, maybe even holding or alternating or picking up the speed. Another option here, just to switch the angle, is to hike the hip to the left side and then rotate to the right side. Let me say that again. Let's come back to center, we'll do the other side. So hike the hip up to the right, so the tailbone is pointing to the right, and then rotate to the right so that you can switch the angle on the upper adductors. You can rotate all the way, come back with the rotation, come back with the pelvis from neutral. Now we're gonna get to the left and rotate to the left. Okay, another option here, maybe bring the feet a little bit closer, is to go side to side like we were just doing, but then hinge the hips back as you go. So again, we're switching the angle here. Hinge, left, right, hinge, left, right, hinge, left, right. And then obviously coming back towards vertical. Let me show you from the side. So I got my feet fairly wide, I'm going side to side. And then I hinge the hips, and come back. You could do this with an inner anchor, so you could be squeezing the legs in towards each other, as if you're riding a horse. So this will get you more tension on the adductors. So here I'm pushing the heel in. I'm tensing the adductor. I'm engaging it as I stretch it. Then I'm doing the other side. Squeezing the heel in, I'm pushing my leg in towards the midline, but I'm stretching away from it. So this is an inner anchor, side to side hinge. Okay, let's shake that off. Next up, we have a good old triangle pose from yoga. So again, we're gonna start with the feet fairly wide, about twice hip width. And then let's take the right foot and point it straight to the right. The trick here is gonna be keeping the knees straight. Some people like to lock them, your choice if you wanna lock it through the quad or just keep them straight unlocked. And we're gonna utilize that same tailbone glide back towards the back heel, which should immediately open that adductor. You're not gonna feel it on the hamstring unless you rotate a lot. If you rotate a lot and it's starting to look a lot like a lunge or a woodpecker, you're gonna feel the hamstring. But here at the angle, you should feel more on that adductor magnus. So could be like that and just holding. Try to press that right foot down. You could also be reaching. Some people like to bring the hand down to the knee or to the heel, but really the work here is to pull this left hip back as you open the right hip. Try to keep the right knee open. And then we'll switch sides. So turn the foot back in, open the left foot, work the right hip back and the left hip back simultaneously. Then send that tailbone to point back. Open the knee. Reach. Maybe hand to the knee or hand to the shin. Make sure you're not on the hamstring. Okay, can come back. Then we have another variation, which would be the ninja stretch. So here we will be on a wide stance. We would shift not only the tailbone, but also the knee out. And we're gonna come down to the floor. Straighten the left heel out. And again, if you turn to face the foot, you're gonna be on your hamstring. But if you stay here on the side, sometimes I like to turn all the way back. Get that left elbow outside the right knee. And then to come back to center, you just switch up and go to the other side. You can use the hands. You can also play with hands on prayer pose. So you can try a few of those back to back. You could also do more of them dynamic. Can reach for the toes. Okay, let's come back up. Shake that off. Well, of course, you have a typical forward fold. That would be an easy option, just to get wide, send the hips back. Again, you're getting a lot of hamstring on this as well. Fingertips, hands to the floor. Go side to side with the hips here. If it feels like you're on the low back, you can walk your hands to one foot and the other. And to finish up, we're gonna go onto our backs for a heel trace. So the idea here is that we're gonna be face up. We'll take the left heel on top of the right ankle and roll the thighs in, then trace the heel up the ridge of the right shin over the knee and about halfway through the quad, and then trace it back down. So this is a adductor slash hip flexor contraction here, front shin engagement. Another option here is to take the opposite hand and push out so that the knee is forced to push in, so that the adduction happens a little stronger. You can release that. Let's switch sides. So right heel over the left ankle, both ankles are flexed, both legs are internally rotated, and we stay right at the top of that ridge. Come out to the very top. Make sure the knee is crossing the midline of the belly button.
Do a couple like this, just tracing up and down. And if you want, you can take the opposite hand, push it out onto the knee pushes in. And you're working not only the adductors, but you can also think of a bit of transverse, rectus, oblique abdominis, hip flexors, everything kind of just pulling in to that center, and trace it back down,
Good. That's your adductors workout. Enjoy.